If you know the answer, just raise your hand. I'm gonna pick up. So here, let's start the first question. He asks you to use these terms to fill the gaps in the following sentences. So, when a single population evolves into two populations, they cannot interbreed anymore. What process happened, guys, in that situation? Yes, Adham.
The number one, it will be species.
Speciation. So number one, speciation, guys. So here, like this, we could. So we can say speciation. That's number one. Okay, then here, Darwin theory of space explained the process by which organisms become well adapted to their environment. So, Ritaj,
Natural selection.
natural selection, good, okay. So, a group of organisms that can mate with each other to produce offspring is known as Sama,
Species.
species, okay. So, this one, species, good, okay. Then, okay, question number 4, okay. Here we said the space provides information about organisms that have lived in the past. فرح محلب.
Fossil record.
Fossil record, good. Question number 5. In space, humans select organisms with desirable traits that will be passed from one generation to another. Nihad,
بس ممكن بس شوف ال choices.
okay.
ممكن هتطلع بالشاشة لو عايز تشوف
Yeah,
ال
okay.
choices.
So we had adaptation, evolution, generation, time, species, speciation, fossil record, selective breeding, natural selection.
اوكي.
So
هتبقى adaption.
no. Okay. So who can answer this question? Yes, let's see, Laura.
I know.
الستار هي selective breeding.
Yeah, selective breeding. So be careful, okay, about your choices. So selective breeding, that's a process done by humans, okay? So to select which traits or the desirable traits just to keep passing from one generation to another. Question number 6. Space helps an organism survive better in their environment. Yes, Laura, you can answer this question.
Adaptation.
Adaptation, good. Question number 7. Populations of insects and bacteria can evolve quickly because they usually have a short spomica. I can't hear you.
Generation time.
Generation time, okay. So question number 8, he asks you here, okay. Fossil commonly found in. Fossils always are found in. Yes, Duplina.
A.
A, sedimentary rock. Okay, sedimentary rock. Yes, always. The sedimentary rocks that the only rock that could save fossils. Okay, while the other kinds of rocks, of course, they cannot. So here, the fact that all organisms have DNA as their genetic material is evidence that Muhammad Yasser.
Yes, mister.
Yeah. Question 9.
Okay.
Could you please be close to the mic because your sound is not that clear?
Mister, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, it will be B. All the organism may descend from a compound ancestor.
From a common ancestor. Yeah, so all organisms may have descended from a common ancestor. That's good. Then pause question 10. Charles Darwin puzzled over different, okay,
Can I answer?
sorry, differences. Sorry, here. Charles Darwin puzzled over differences in the space of different species of Galapagos finches. Okay. Yes, Hafela.
It will be B.
Beaks, yes, he found that different zebra finches in different islands, okay, in the Ecuador and Galapagos Island, they are different in their beaks to be able to adapt with the kind of food they feed on in each place. That's good. So question number 11. Darwin observed variations among individuals within a population, but he did not realize that these variations were caused by, yes, Janaguda.
Um, C.
See differences in genes. Excellent, because we said that Darwin at that time actually doesn't know about genetics, or the knowledge of genetics was not available yet. Okay, in that time, so he doesn't know that. So let's here pass to this part of the short answer questions. So here, question number 12, identify two ways that organisms can be compared to provide evidence of evolution from a common ancestor. So how we could, yes, Uta?
By comparing their DNA or their skeletal structures.
Yes, so we could be able, or we just could prove that they can be, or they uh, could be compared by comparing their skeletal structure. That means the structure of the bones, how they look like, as we observed this, comparing the structure of the wing of the bat, hand of the, or arm of the human, even the forelimb in the horse or cat, and so on. So we're gonna observe somehow they have similar structures, which means they are descending from the same ancestor or common ancestor. And also we said we could compare DNA similarities between the DNA and most living organisms, prove that they are descending from a common ancestor. So good. Question 13. Describe evidences that support that hypothesis that whales evolved from land-dwelling mammals. Okay. Who can answer this question? Mm. Yes, Sama?
Um, Scientists think that whales evolved from walked land mammals that could run on four legs. These ancestors lived about 50 million years. After that, these mammals are evolved to live in water about 49 million years. They could swim by kicking their leg and using their tails for balance. They also could walk on land by using short legs.
Mm.
After that, they lived in water about 40 million years. They have tiny hind limbs for walking.
So,
Modern
yep.
whales don't have limbs, but they have tiny hip bones, and their forelimbs are evolved to flippers.
So actually, all
That's it.
it's a very good, it's a very good story actually. Just explain everything. But the question doesn't need all these. It just describe the evidence. That means show me something that prove this whale in past was a four-legged mammal. Okay, so simply you can say that the modern whales they have the bones of the pelvis bones, or the bones of the back limb is still found but are too small, which means already they in the past they have a back limb used to walk on. Also, you can say that the pedals or of the whale is just they have the same structure of the forelimb of most mammals. Okay, so that means the skeletal structure of it. Also, we can say the skull structure have okay, nozzles like the nozzles which are already found in mammals. So all these could prove that the whale already in the past was a four-leg. So by comparing the bones and comparing DNA and the depth. Is it clear? So we just need to find the evidence. What prove, okay, that they were a four-leg mammal. Is it clear, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
Master.
Okay. So question 14. Why are some animals more likely to survive to adulthood than other animals are? So
Still,
what?
can I answer?
Yes, of course you can.
Number 14, it would be because they adapt by making suitable traits.
So because they have some suitable traits which make them more adaptive, or they more be adaptable, or they could adapt more with the surroundings or the environment. Okay, so or easily we could say they are fittest with the environment, so they survive rather than the others. Very good. Explain how genetics is related to evolution. So who can answer this question? Yes, Hannah Yasser.
Genes undergo changes as evolution occurs, and genes are changed to better adapt to help the organism better adapt to their environment.
So here, guys, it's actually you just answered in reversed way. You assume that evolution already done and then genes fate with the evolution. But actually, it's just another hand, or as a way we can say that how genetics related to evolution. We said they are related because the different traits among the population, or the different genetic, or the genetic variety among the population, that's considered, okay, an important situation to natural selection process, which cause evolution. By evolution, genes changed and passed from one generation to another, okay, with picked certain traits and others will vanish. That means that genes already changed after evolution. So you get the idea. That means both processes, okay, they affect each other. So I just can't say the genes are changed by evolution only, because actually evolution depends on the variety that already found based on the genetic information which each individual in a population has. You got this, guys? Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, because as we said, if all the living organisms of a certain species they are exactly the same, and there is no genetic variety, actually there is no natural selection will happen, because in that once the environmental conditions change and all of them they are the same, so all of them they will give the same response to these new conditions. So all of them may survive or all of them may extinct it, and in that situation there is no kind of selection. But regarding to the variety, so they give different responses, or they show different levels of adaptation with this new conditions. So some of them they are more able to adapt than others, so they are fittest, they could survive, while others cannot. You get the idea, guys?
Yes, yes.
Question 16. Outline an example of the process of association. So who can answer that question? Yes, Salma.
Genetics refers to the shared ancestry
I can't hear
of
you.
life
Your sound is very far.
organisms show how.
Question 16. Question 16. Okay, and please
16.
try to be close to
Uh,
the mic because your sound is too far.
oh, sorry. The speciation of Galapagos finch.
Okay.
The finches are isolated from one another by the ocean. Over millions of years, each species of finch
Mm.
evolve a unique beak that is adapted to get food.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so here like this, that the idea. Okay, just a second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry for that. Let's continue here. So again, 16, Salma said, okay, that the speciation that happened in the province of Galapagos Island. So she said that some of these birds already separate or they isolate because of the river or because of the water, okay, or the ocean between them, and then they start to adapt over years and years in their new habitat or the new environment until they become somehow different species or no more able to interbreed. So like this, they are considered as two different species. Thank you. Okay, so let's pass here to question 17. Use the following terms to create concept map. Okay, struggle to survive, theory, genetic variation, Darwin, overpopulation, natural selection, and successful reproduction. So who could rearrange this statement just to give us a little, okay, idea? So yes, we can do that. Adham?
Me صح؟
Yes, Adham.
Uh, بص يا مستر هو I draw a circle and
So
then
no,
on the ground.
it's not must to make a mind map. You can just tell me, okay, the steps, or you can say it in your a word like a paragraph.
Okay. Darwin, then theory, and then natural selection,
Okay,
then four arrows,
okay,
struggle to survive,
yep,
genetic variation, overpopulation, struggle to survive.
okay, good. Question 18, guys. Okay, so here making interferences. Okay, or so how could natural selection affect the songs that birds sing. Anyone could predict here? Yes, Uto?
Vocal cords would change depending on what the animal they would attract. Like if the female attracted to a certain voice, the male bird would adapt to have a type of vocal cords so they could attract the
So
other species.
actually, your word is true, but it seems that the males which already found in the environment they will turn to have this kind of song. But actually, it's not like this. You could say, as you said, female attracted to certain songs. Okay, so the male who have this ability, they will have more chance to reproduce, producing new offspring with the same ability to make that song. So after many years, most males will have that this trait, or they will adapt to this trait. You get this, guys? Okay, because others males which found in the same time they won't be able to change their vocal cords. You get idea?
Yes.
Okay, so question 19. In Australia, many animals look like mammals from other parts of the world, but most of mammals in Australia are marsupials, which carry their young in pouches after birth. Few kinds of marsupials are found anywhere else in the world. What is possible? Few kinds of marsupial are found there. What is the possible explanation for the presence of many these unique animals in Australia? What do you think? Why most of them they are found in Australia and they are too rare in the rest of the world? Yes, Pomika? Yes, guys. Anyone? What do you think? Why they are most abundant in Australia than other place? So the people who are raising their hand, you know the answer, or just raising your hand from the beginning and they like that?
Yes,
Yes, Pomika.
question number what?
Question number 19. You're on with us?
لا مستر معلش النت قطع عشان كده مش
Okay. So
question number 19. Australia is an island.
yeah.
So the mammals are involved in a specific way,
Okay.
which is different than the rest of the people, the rest of the mammals.
So we said that because Australia environment or Australia the environment supported this kind of animals more than other places. So they could adapt in this place in Australia better than in other place. Yes,
Yes.
you get idea?
أنا عندي different answer ينفع
Okay, yes,
أقولها
of
بس.
course you can say it.
Australia would have more natural disasters, for example, than other places, so their parents were adapted to be more protective than other animals.
No, actually, that's a good. That's a good prediction, but actually, it's not like this because natural disaster it will not. That means the baby once it's found inside the pouch of the mother is not that protection that could keep it from natural disasters. Okay, because simply in natural disaster like flood or volcano or tornado or something like that, already the mother will die with the baby. You get the idea?
Yes, but
Okay.
they will be more strong, not fragile, like the baby.
Yeah. So whatever the reason is, because actually you don't know what is the reason that make marsupials, but of course, as they could reproduce in large numbers in Australia rather than other place in the earth, it means already they could adapt with this environment better than other places, which means that Australia provide kind of support resources that this kind of marsupials could survive rather than other places. That means suitable temperature, available kind of food, or something like this. Okay, so that's make it could survive. You get idea? Even it could be kind of protection, but actually natural disaster is something that appear, okay, very strong. You get the idea? Is it clear? Is it clear,
Yes,
guys?
yes.
Yes, mister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here let's pass to question 20. Geologists have evidence that contents were once a single giant content. This giant landform eventually split apart and the individual contents moved to their current position. What rule might this drifting of contents have applied in evolution? They play which rule? Yeah, who can answer this? Yes, Farah? Farah Mahlab?
Yes. Big organisms separated and lived in different places
Yes,
and
so they would.
environments, so they
Good,
had to adapt to different environments, and new species kept evolving.
good. So this kind of drift will play what rule? It will play the role of isolation or separation, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this drifting can make living organisms or some individuals of species, okay, they could separate, okay, and as they separate like this, okay, so that's here the first step to start evolution. Good. So the last question here said the graph below show information about infants that are born and the infants that have died in a population. In a population, the weight of each infant was measured at birth. Use the graph to answer the questions. Okay, here, so I give you a graph. So infant birth by birth weight, and you can observe it look like this. Okay, while here probability of death. Okay, and that the weight, as you can observe. So he said that what is the most common birth weight? Who can answer this question? 21. Yes, Mehad.
7 pounds.
7. Okay, so approximately 7, yes, okay. So between 6 and 8, that's good. At which birth weight is an infant most likely to survive?
Uh, 7 pounds.
7 pounds, because as you can see here, the higher chance or the most surviving or the most number, they are at 7, and you can observe here the lowest rate death also at 7, so 7. How do the principles of natural selection help explanation why there are more deaths among babies whose birth weights are low than among babies whose birth weights are average?
Because they are more weaker and fragile.
So like this, okay, because their weight is not that support, so they may be not strong enough to survive in the environment, so they could die. That's good, guys, here. So anyone have any hard question regarding to that chapter, guys? Or anything is not clear?
No.
So don't forget to send your project's link, okay, on our group. People who didn't send it, please send it, okay? And thank you for who sent it. Next week, inshallah, we're gonna start to share our presentations or our videos, okay, together and show your work and give the feedback. So any question before we end our meeting, guys?
Yeah, Mr. Can you repeat
Yep.
number 23 again, because the internet
Number
connection was bad?
20, the question 20.
23.
23. Yes, he asked you, how do the principles of natural selection help explanation why there are more deaths among babies whose birth weights are low than among babies who average? We're gonna that birth rate, the average, okay, is about 7. So the people, the individuals or the babies that they have less weight, so they have high rate of death. Why that? Because we could consider that this environment support the baby to be strong enough, or it need a kind of strength, okay, or need a certain body mass that needed to be able to obtain food or to fight or survive against disease or something like that. So people who has less weight than the average, they are not able to fit with the environmental condition in that place, so they die. You good idea?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, guys. Okay, do your best in your project and see you next week, inshallah. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.